The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So, Adam, I think it's time we start taking the Sunderland team seriously.
Yes, yeah, big result for them on the weekend.
Yep, let's experience one of those moments.
Done by Trey Hume. Hume's ball in. Ballard is there to flick on, and it's flicked in. Graham Broby for Sunderland. Oh my word! What a time to get your first goal for the club. A stoppage time equaliser. Sunderland throwing everything at Arsenal and rewarded.
Amazing. We will discuss this further because right now we are preparing ourselves, lining everything up. It's time for Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So that ended up being the game of the weekend. I mean, Sunderland at home appears to be unbeatable. They have not been beaten all year. They've had a few dramatic draws, including this one against Arsenal. They've won some games. And now, as things stand today, on the day we tape this, they are in fourth place.
Yeah, amazing.
They're ahead of Liverpool. They're ahead of Tottenham, Manchester United, Bournemouth, Aston Villa. What in the world is going on there?
Yeah, and they're a point ahead, so they actually have more points. It's not like goal differential. Yeah, fantastic start for the season for Sunderland. Very worthy in terms of what they're doing. I think teams are still struggling to figure them out. The long throws worked for them. They're very good on set pieces. They're good with not having the ball. They like to counterattack, and they're causing teams all kinds of problems. Will it be figured out? I'm not sure if it will be figured out this season, but I guarantee you teams will figure it out for next season.
You know, I was watching the game, and the announcers were even talking about how they adjust the field week to week sometimes, the pitch itself, to make it narrower so that those long throws are more dangerous, depending on the other team. If the other team has one that's also a good long thrower, they don't do it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, they are using the home field advantage to the fullest. No question about that. And we've seen this with a lot of teams now. I mean, we see goals pretty much every single week now on set pieces with long throws or free kicks, whatever it may be. But this is a big part of the game this year, and it's having a big impact on the Premier League.
So what do you think it is about the Sunderland team? Why are they so good at home? Other than, the obvious, they've got a big crowd support and, they spent a ton of money. But is there something about their approach that is throwing people off?
I don't know. I think it's the newness to them. I think there's definitely that part to it. So teams are maybe struggling to prepare for them. But like I think we've determined, obviously, the set pieces has been a big part of it. But they are building off the energy of that stadium. I couldn't imagine what the sound is like in that stadium. I've heard from a lot of people, a lot of the former professionals who played there when it was full, that it's the loudest stadium to be playing in. So that has an impact on the team, the energy, and everything else. So there's no question about that. But they are just figuring things out. They're figuring out how to play. They've got a great player in Granit Xhaka in terms of holding things, in terms of it. And there was a couple of things in the game on the weekend where he's just kind of looking up at the crowd, the music's playing, and it's just like to a lot of things, it's his team and everybody's kind of rallying around. They just got a really good group of players that are all in it together, and that makes a huge difference. And it's not always the best players that win, it's the best team that works together, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another team that is putting it together, and that is Manchester City. Last week we talked about how the Liverpool-Man City match that the winner is going to take over the main role as challenger to Arsenal. Arsenal drops a couple of points at Sunderland. Man City handily defeats Liverpool. And now they're in second place all by themselves, and they do appear to be the challenger. And can we talk about Jeremy Doku?
Yeah, wow.
Is there someone in the Premier League that's harder to cover than that guy, one-on-one?
It's taken him, I think this is his third season now. It's taken him a couple of seasons to get used to everything, but he was the main difference in that game on the weekend, no question about it. And that third goal where he cuts inside and curves it into the side netting, no goalkeeper would have saved that. So yeah, he's playing at a different level. So they now have another Belgian who's now starting to move things forward for them. So that's great for them.
That's not fair.
But he just tormented Liverpool. He really did. I mean, there's no question about it. Every time he got the ball, poor old, I think it was Conor Bradley. He was just all at sea, and it was tough, you know. And I think there's a lot of discussion, not to turn it to Liverpool, but there's a lot of discussion on the defensive frailties of Liverpool, but the fact that Salah's not defending as much as he did previously.
Yeah.
And so that's exposing, the backs a little bit more, and that's why a player like a Jeremy Doku is able to make such an impact.
Salah, I think, in previous seasons has defended more because he had Trent behind him, and he always felt like he needed to help out because Trent was so weak defensively. But then he got it back in spades on the offensive side because Trent was so good on the offensive side. Bradley may be a little better as a defender, but he's nowhere near the offensive player of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, exactly. And this is how fickle it is. I mean, Conor Bradley was fantastic midweek against Real Madrid.
He was. he covered Vinicius.
Exactly. Vinny Jr. Yeah. Exactly. He got him in his pocket. But Jeremy Doku had him in his pocket. So it's just, amazing. I mean, Doku came over 55 million a couple of years ago. And now I think he's starting to show his worth. And good player.
There's another guy who's starting to show his worth, and he's on your blue team. And that's Garnacho, who was deep on the bench at the beginning of the season, and the last couple of weeks they've been pulling him out. I believe he had a really good game in the Champions League, and then he looked fantastic this past weekend.
Yeah, again, there's no question of the skill and the ability he has. I mean, I think Man United let a good player go, and I think part of that was probably all of the outside of the field situation, all of the things. And there's definitely, he has his own issues. I think he does his own things. He kind of beats to his own drum. There's no question. But yeah, very impressive. He was impressive in that game. Scored midweek against Karabag, and now he had 2 assists on the weekend. And the nice thing with Chelsea is, we always say, outside midfielders, do we need another outside midfielder or outside winger? But he's coming in, and then Estevo came in as well and made an impact as well. So the nice thing is they've got the depth of players coming in, and so Garnacho is probably pushing really hard for a starting position. And don't forget, they've got Neto as well. So there's a lot of good players.
And Chelsea finds themselves alone in third place right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're also on the upswing. So
yeah, I think the only thing that they need that striker to score. The lap's back now, and they need him to score consistently. If they get that, I think they'll be right there and thereabouts. Can they win the league? Well, that'd be great, but I don't know. They've got to find that striker. They've got to find that Erling Haaland, right? They've got to find that player who can score consistently. But they're putting themselves in a good spot against, to be fair, probably the worst team in the league in Wolves, unfortunately.
That is true.
But they do have a new manager. Yeah, they do have a new manager, so hopefully they can work things out.
All right, let's talk about the other team that I think is in danger of suddenly dropping, and that is Newcastle, which this is kind of out of the blue. I mean, I know, well, here we are approaching the 1/3 mark of the season, and they've only beaten 3 teams, and that's Wolves, Forest, and Fulham, and all of those clubs are near the bottom, and all of the matches were at home, and other than that, they haven't done anything. They're only a few points above the relegation zone right now.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, 4 losses in their last 7 games. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Newcastle. They're juggling the Champions League, so they're having to deal with that. And there was a lot of questions about the lack of rotation of players this weekend. I think he only made 1 change from the week when they played midweek. So that probably hurt them, because some of these players going full out in the Champions League and then playing on the weekend, it's very difficult. Yeah. It's not like it used to be, right? So it's a whole different level of where they're playing at. So I think that was a discussion. And like you said, they're struggling to win away. They seem to be a totally different team. They've done okay in the Champions League. I mean, they've done all right, but they're really struggling. So I think it's, again, maybe that lack of rotation has probably had a little bit of an effect on them.
You know what it could be? English coach.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny how poor old Eddie Howe, I mean, the guy brought a trophy back to them. I mean, they're better than they've ever been. Let's be honest.
That is true.
I mean, I give the guy some slack. I mean, he's doing a superb job. They obviously top 4 last year, Champions League. They won the League Cup. They hadn't won a trophy in 65 years, and they want to get rid of him already. Come on.
If they want Isak back, they can have him.
Exactly. They lost their top striker, who's done nothing. Who's done nothing. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the stat of the week, because I found a fun one. This is, that they time and measure everything. Those guys, they wear those little, whatever those.
GPS
device, yes, underneath their jerseys, and so they have all these stats. And one of the things they test for is speed.
Okay,
and they have listed the top 10 fastest players in the league this year at any time for any game. Okay, and we're talking fast. I mean, 37 kilometers an hour. Is the top speed. Let's see if you can guess any. We've already talked about 2 really fast players in Doku and Garnacho. Neither of them are on this list. So there are 10 players faster than them. You want to see if you can guess any of them.
Well, the player I always think of right away who's always fast, he's probably gotten a little slower, but I think he was England's fastest player, was Kyle Walker. He always comes to mind as being one of the fastest players. Is he still on the list?
Nope, he is not.
What?
Nope. Not on the list.
I'm shocked. All right.
These are not superstars. I mean, you've heard of a few of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I would even go into go to the back. I always think of back players sometimes at first because they need that speed.
Most of them are back players, just so you know.
Yeah, interesting. So I would say Mickey van der Ven from Tottenham. He's got to be up there because he's pretty darn quick.
No, he's not. There is a Tottenham player on here, Wilson Odobert.
Okay, all right.
He's 35 kilometers an hour.
Interesting. That's in. Well, Chelsea may have one. I would put Pedro Neto up there. He's got to be up there. No, he's pretty darn quick.
No Chelsea players. I'll give you the names of the teams here. There's one for the Wolves. He's the fastest in the league, and I've never heard of this guy. I've really only watched the Wolves play once, and that was this past weekend against Chelsea. It's Jackson Chachoa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a defender.
Okay.
And then from Manchester United, Mbomo is up here. He's 36 kilometers an hour.
Gotcha.
Dan James from Leeds.
Yeah.
He's always
play
been
a heck
fast.
Yeah, he's always been quick.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's all he is. That's 36 kilometers an hour. Minte from Brighton. Then there's Alanga from Newcastle. Jeremy Frimpong for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
Ola Aina from Forest. Brahan Gruda from Brighton. Mm-hmm. And then Anthony Alanga from Newcastle. Those are your fastest.
Yeah, so that tells you, I mean, being quick doesn't help you because most of those players are not doing much in the league.
Right.
You know, and that's the interesting thing.
And actually, this is my point here is not, this is speed as opposed to quickness, right? The guys that we're talking about, like Doku, that's the first step, right? The first or second step from him. No one can match that. It's just unbelievable. But that's more valuable than sprinting speed.
Yeah.
Because, Mo Salah's not on here either, and it seems like he outruns somebody every single game. Yeah.
There's certain players when they're wide open, they're gonna get away and they're gonna score. It's like you're not gonna stop. Even an Erling Haaland, right?
Yes.
If he's in, first of all, you're not going to catch him and you're not going to push him off the ball. So that's pretty much a given. So, interesting.
All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and is the largest youth sports organization with approximately 95,000 players, coaches, and referees. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, official state association, and charter member of U.S. Soccer Federation, U.S. Youth Soccer, and administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org. I think we've got some Chicagoland news.
I did not know that. All right.
And now, the latest Chicago area soccer news. Soccer news with Coach Adam.
Okay.
So, first of all, want to congratulate some of our State Cup champions from last week. So these are teams that are now going to be heading straight to the national championships. So the interesting thing, there's no regionals anymore.
Oh.
So teams that will go straight through to the national championships. So
they have like a 50 team tournament?
It's going to be slightly bigger, but they've tiered it. So you've got kind of a large state and a small state group.
Okay.
Illinois is in the large state. So you've got a couple of tiers. So it's getting closer to what we're used to in high school, right? So with the high school programs, you have the smaller schools and then the larger schools. So the evolution of soccer, right? Evolution of youth soccer. But so congrats to 15U girls, Chicago Rush Select. So congrats to them. 16U girls champion, Ajax FC, back-to-back champions. 17U girls, FC United, back-to-back champs. And then 19U girls is Evolution Jabat FC. So congrats to them. They'll be going to nationals. Now we'll also have teams qualifying through the National League and other areas, but they will be heading, I believe, we have 2 sites. Murfreesboro in Tennessee, I believe, is where the girls are. And then the boys will be out in Salt Lake. And that's going to be this summer. So congrats to them. And then also our ODP. We're starting this weekend. So want to wish all of the players best of luck who've signed up. We're going to have a lot of kids. We had a few age groups that had quite a lengthy waiting list. We was able to maneuver things around. So I think pretty much everybody's now in, which is great. So we're looking forward to see all of our groups. I'm going to be located in Schaumburg, so you'll see me with the youngsters, the 2016s and 2017s. Does that make you feel old, Rick? Yeah, exactly. Slightly, yeah, you probably got jackets older than those children. So,
oh my God, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Oh, so it's exciting for them.
My socks are over.
There you go. But excited to see all the players come in to Schaumburg and Rockford this weekend. So had our parent meeting last night and looking forward to seeing everyone. So there you go. There's your Chicagoland news.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, so this week's Premier League star is 24 years old.
Yep.
And I think this is the first player that I've ever heard of that is eligible to play for two national teams. And the national teams are Brazil and Bulgaria.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Brazil and Bulgaria. Those are the two teams that he qualifies to play for. He hasn't played for either of them yet because he hasn't made the national team, but that's where he can play. It's up to him. He's a striker. He has played professionally in 4 different countries.
Wow. He's only 24.
And it's Brazil and Bulgaria, Belgium, and now England. He played only briefly for his current club last season. He suffered a knee injury. This year, he's one of the top scorers in the league. He has 8 goals.
Oh, wow.
And he wears number 9.
It's number 9.
Yeah.
He's got to be playing with a team that's obviously... Are they doing okay?
Yeah,
would you say?
They're doing okay. I predicted they wouldn't, but they are.
Okay. So would he be playing for either one of those teams we spoke about today, potentially Sunderland or Brentford?
No. Oh, no. Yes, Brentford, yes. He is playing for Brentford, yes.
So he's playing for Brentford.
I saw him score from about 20 feet away.
Okay, so there you go. So, yeah, we talked about it last time, yeah. So, and he's, having a good season. Really good. So
really good.
And did we have him as one of our fastest players? Or was it somebody else?
No.
No, okay. Because he's quite quick. So, but I'm going to go with Igor Thiago.
That is correct. Igor Thiago.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
That's from my favorite movie. I picked him just so I could play that clip.
So you got to tell people the movie because they're probably not.
Young Frankenstein, which came out in 1974 for you 2016s. That was 40 some years before you were born, but it's a classic Mel Brooks film. I highly recommend it. There's a whole discussion of the name Frankenstein and Frankenstein right before that. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, for sure. So who do you think he's going to play for? Brazil or Bulgaria?
I can't figure out how he qualifies as Bulgarian. Is it just because his name is Igor? Because he was born in Brazil and grew up in Brazil? He must have a mother that's Bulgarian or something.
Yeah, either a mother or a grandfather or grandparent. Sometimes that qualifies you to be able to get that. So,
So, there were a lot of people that immigrated to Brazil after a certain war. And I wonder why they went there. But, well, that's a story for a different time.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
And let me just warn everybody, it's international break.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
I tell you, just when it gets good, it slows down again. So that's all right. But, I mean, there's really what we need to do is we need to start thinking about the World Cup, right? So, obviously, some of these teams have already qualified, so there's a lot of teams, and we're getting closer to the draw. So that's going to be big.
That's true.
So we're going to, get an idea of when this is going to happen. So I think it's going to be coming up here like December, first week in December. So we'll know exactly who's playing where. So this weekend is probably going to have a good, we'll have a good idea of what's going on with which teams are qualified and everything else. And I think the majority of all the big ones are going to be in, because there's going to be over 30 teams in this. It's going to be the largest World Cup ever. So there's going to be lots of games. I think they're talking about over 100 games. It's just for qualifying games. Wow. So it's going to be good. So I'm going to put down for the game. So we need to continue to watch our US team.
Yes.
So we've got to watch Paraguay. They play Paraguay. They play the Guays this weekend. They play the Paraguay and Uruguay, right? So 4 o'clock on Saturday, they play Paraguay. Then on Tuesday, they play Uruguay, which I think might be a decent game.
Yeah.
So we're good. I know Tyler Adams is out. He had a little bit of if you remember that collision, he had a bit of a collision in the Brentford in the game that he was playing with, in terms of what took place with Bournemouth. So he's just being held out. I think everybody else is there. I think McKinney is also possibly out as well, but some different players, and I'm sure there'll be more. But those are 2 games to watch. And then also, as a side note, if people love college soccer, obviously I was a former college soccer coach. On the men's side, you'll get a lot of games on ESPN Plus, because it's going to be the tournament games. So if you get a chance to watch Saturday, Sunday games, that's a good time to watch it. You'll see the Missouri Valley, the Big Ten, all of the conferences, the Summit, Ohio Valley, all of them have got their finals this weekend. So jump on ESPN Plus and you'll catch some good college games. So,
and you know what else? There's the U17U.
Yes, that's right.
World Cup, I think it is, isn't it? Or
that's right. The USA is playing today,
and we're good.
We're good. We're good. And a little shout out to our Olympic development program. One of their star players is Chase Adams from Illinois, Naperville, who is playing for the U.S. national team. Started the last game, scored a bunch of goals, and wish him the best luck. He was part of our ODP program. So these players are all born in 2008, 2009. So that gives you an idea.
Did you see, was it Chase that did the Polenka penalty kick?
That was Cavan who scored that one. Yeah. So that was a nice one. Yes, absolutely.
Like, boy, these kids, they're coming up and they are cocky.
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
They're good. So definitely worth watching. I think they've already qualified for the next stage. So we'll probably catch some of their games later next week, but worth watching. And getting through. I know England's in there, got all the big powers in there. So the next round of games next weekend will be really, really good. So, should be a good one.
All right, Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. Next year, 2026, we'll be celebrating our 70th anniversary, trying to figure out how to celebrate that. We sent out a survey to our members, and it appears they want some sort of a banquet, which means I'm going to have to be an MC again.
Oh, nice.
Been trying to retire from the MC business, but apparently I may have to do one more. But Green White Soccer, 70 years. We've got teams for every age, all the way to over 50, and starting at U8. So check it out, greenwhitesoccer.org. All right, we have people to thank. We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasana, with Opie Shows. Thanks, Tony. Also, Ed Silla with the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, which is radiomisfits.com. Now, we're going to take next week off because Adam's out of town, and quite frankly, there won't be much to talk about. But we will be back again in 2 weeks with another episode of Free Kicks.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at radiomisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?